Erin, I thought this was a good one to start you with. You know, no one out there is going to say I don't care about the environment, but millennials more so?
Yeah, dare I say. I'm a millennial. I was born in 1991. I am 24 years old. And we've grown up in a time of eco-renaissance, in a time where green, eco, climate change is very real. And I think because of the power of these little guys, because of the power of technology and digital communication, the impact, the realities, the gravity of environmental degradation, of climate change, is omnipresent. We can look at it and see what is happening. We know the cause and effect. We're hearing the numbers, but also just growing up in a time, you know, organic food is available, recycling. These aren't changes that we've had to make. These are built into our DNA. This is how we were raised. These are things that we've been aware of, that have been in the news, in the media since day one. So you're talking about a generation that's grown up with the buzzwords of the time. And I'm happy to see that they've stuck. As your, you know, resident green girl, it's nice to see that, yeah, my peers get it. We're not so set in our ways that we think we have to make these changes. It's in our DNA.
Megan, let's continue that one. Because you know, you are connected to college campuses. You are at the younger end of that millennial demo. Are they actually more in tune? Do they actually show more support? I would have to agree that, you know, they've grown up with not only the internet being ubiquitous, but the whole climate change thing being ubiquitous.
Oh,
so,
absolutely. Yeah. I don't think I could say it any better than Erin did.
Erin, you would have me believe that your generation would not buy products or services from companies they don't perceive as being green enough. Has that been actually shown yet in research?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it has. I think price is definitely a factor. It's been a factor, particularly even more so in the past, you know, few years for us. But I know when I first started talking about millennials sort of pre-recession, yeah, if you show people two products and they were in a certain, you know, close price index, absolutely. Same price, we're going to choose the sustainable option. What she was saying about, you know, hiring, if I can just piggyback on that. I don't know a friend that walks into a job interview and doesn't ask about environmental and social programs or isn't aware of that. And that's been something even just on websites. I've heard from so many companies that now you have to put that on there, that people are challenging my generation, our generation, because I know that there's a lot of my peers in the audience, is going into the workforce, right? These are what we want to do. It's hard for us to separate our personal and professional values. So it's nice to know that there are companies like Waste Management, but other companies that might not have such a direct connection to the environment, absolutely also looking at those programs.
Erin, you're at the roots of the grassroots, so tell us a little bit about your programs, because again, you're at the young end of that demo, and you're able to get onto campuses. Marketers have problems getting onto campuses because they have to be vetted through, again, 97 offices and get approvals. And you told me before you come through the students, and so it's not only is it authentic and legitimate, you're there before Coke and Pepsi.
Yeah, I mean, we started 10.5 years ago, and we started with mostly a high school demographic. I was in 8th grade, that was our constituency, and we were focused on lifestyle choices, on personal things. Millennials, you know, most of us still don't own homes, don't own cars, but certainly 10 years ago, that wasn't even on our radar screen. So how do you hit them? With personal lifestyle choices. So we were focusing on things like body care, on apparel, on school campuses, and now we have this, you know, demographic constituency that's bought in. They're leaders, they're young people that are passionate about these causes, and they want us to come to their campus.
So you're on the campus telling them what? Choices in brands,
so we talk about first practices and then products. So first of all, you know, conscious consumerism is what we preach, but we gotta use less. Millennials get that. But also we're not set in our ways. We haven't established those lifelong brand loyalty yet.
That's why
we're very close. And we have found that real sweet spot in the going to college, that dorm experience, as one of our most powerful programs. We have one called Project Green Dorm for back to school. We just set up a bunch of green dorm rooms for different campuses as they're having tours come through, as they're sending out their checklists. So that's a great time to capture these students. But then, yeah, we do a Conscious College Road Tour every spring, and we go around the country. It's sort of like Groundhog's Day, same setup, different campus every day for 6 weeks. And we set up in the heart of the quad, in the middle of the green, with signage, with samples, with products, with infographics, with people talking. And we get these comments. How? Because it comes from us. And that's what the administration wants to hear. That's what the teachers and professors and departments want to see, young people taking it on. So we go out peer-to-peer, us to them, digitally, and then it becomes physical. So I think that one of the things I'm most proud of in our programs is that duality. We exist in the virtual space, yes, but we're real people. Hi, I'm here. And I think people forget that a lot. Marketers forget that about millennials. Yes, we might have our phones in our hands too much, dare I say, but ultimately that engagement, that face-to-face, that eye contact is really powerful. So we're in the middle and cause a bit of a ruckus in the middle of campus, and that's how we also build capacity on some of these campuses where we have our biggest chapters.
That will change when the phones or whatever we call them will be digital, surgically implanted, and that'll be soon.
Yeah.
Help me understand what you do on the campuses. So can I, as a marketer, buy into that? Do you have brand partnerships?
Yeah, we do. People are asking, a nonprofit, how are you funded? Corporate partnerships and foundations. So we focus on 7 themes when we go to a campus, which are food, apparel, cleaning, dorm space, zero waste. Forgetting a couple, right? Hemp is one that's big, talking about hemp on college campuses, industrial hemp, real fun one. So we have information. So that's what we lead with, like you said, education, education, education. That's what's going to hook them. Those little nuggets, those facts, the statistics that you can share about, the visuals we saw before. Yes, we've heard it before. This many Olympic swimming pools, this much toxins, this many rainforests, this percentage untested X, Y, and Z. It's tweetable. It's postable. It's the nugget you can share with your roommate, your friend as you're walking along. So that sort of information, lots of facts. And then products, best in class. We're so sick of hearing no, no, no. What can we do? What are the options? What are the positives? So it's really spoon feeding people solutions, doing the work for them, putting the best in front of them. So that's products.
What kind of vetting do you do, and what are some of your biggest brand partners?
Yeah, when we first started 10 years ago, we were focused on personal care products. Mm-hmm. And we put these big drop boxes in the center of campuses. We called it Operation Beauty Drop, and had people toss their old packaging. And worked with a chemist to tally the most commonly found egregious chemicals. Didn't know what the word egregious meant at 13, quickly learned. And why they were there, the purpose, sulfactant, preservative, X, Y, and Z, and the health risk. Neurotoxin, endocrine disruptor. So that sort of scientific process goes on, I just give that as one example, goes on behind the scenes because it's really important, particularly as young people who can be easily cast off as inarticulate, ill-informed, X, Y, and Z, that we have the sound science. That's why these sorts of reports that Green Sports is putting out are so brilliant, those sorts of resources to go behind so that when the chemistry student or professor comes up and says, show me the science, you go, oh, we have it because we have these incredible partners that are doing the research behind. So I talk about safety, sustainability, and efficacy as 3 places we vet. It's safe for your body, it's sustainable for the planet, and it works. So if it doesn't work, it's going to end up in landfill, and chances are people are going to be turned off by this whole hippie, crunchy, granola movement that they all thought the green movement was decades ago.
Erin, I understand what the payoff is for waste management for any of these programs. Are we far enough down the road now that we can say what the return is for company X adopting a sustainability, a green program? Sure, hopefully they'll see some savings. Hopefully, long term they won't be harming the environment, but they're going to look more bottom line first.
It's a great marketing investment. Yeah. I mean, it really does.
Let's hope.
It builds goodwill, and if you're authentic, I like to say, our search engine skills are pretty good. We're living in the age of damage, so lies don't do too well with millennials, talking about even going beyond greenwashing. Yep. But I really do think, we're very wary of who we partner with because of that, because it looks really good to work with a youth environmental education nonprofit and going access to college campuses. So, but if you walk the talk and you make commitments, I think absolutely there's a huge goodwill to be earned, marketing, and a lot of savings to be had. We talk about, upfront, just cutting costs, cutting things out. There's so much unnecessary.
Well, since I write about sports marketing for a living, I hear the word authentic about 10 times as much as there actually is authenticity. Yeah. So in this space, what is authentic? I mean, maybe that's still developing, but, and you see it once again at sort of below the grassroots. What, if you're looking for it, what is it?
So I wrote my thesis on this in college.
This was not a setup, okay?
You had no idea. So you go back in time and you look at cause marketing. And it was donating money to a cause, often completely disassociated with what your mission was. Great case study, KFC turned their chicken nugget box pink, support breast cancer awareness. It was discovered that ingredient that was actually used to fry the chicken was a known link, a carcinogen. Failure. What do KFC and breast cancer research have anything to do with each other? Not much. Now you're seeing this going back into supply chain analysis and waste management as the new cause marketing, right? You do the work and you tell the story well. That's all you need. Okay. People don't know. I mean, really, millennials, there's so much confusion about something as simple as recycling. When we go onto campuses, we hear that. Please, can you tell the campus to put photos? Can you tell them to put glass boxes with examples? So really, like, rudimentary, showing people. Okay. So important.
Is the assumption correct there? Less education means less in tune with?
Yeah, but as far as I'm concerned, just as much responsibility and just as much opportunity. We run a school lunch program. Students are 95% qualify for free and reduced lunch. Gives you an idea of the demographic of public school. Huge sports fans. And this is in the Bay Area. There is a pocket of Marin County that fits that demographic bracket, which is shocking to some. And we had the Oakland Athletics come there. And it was the best day imaginable for these kids. But they showed them their garden, talked about nutrition, the importance of this holistic food. We heard about it yesterday, feeding your body well, knowing where your food comes from. So huge ties and that are relevant for everyone.
That's a great idea.
Erin, as the millennial, you get the last word.
Yes, also the eternal optimist. It has to be. I have to believe. You got to hold out this hope, and we're all in this room because we do believe it. But we have to be vigilant. We have to be champions. We have to keep spreading the word because it is really easy to just go back to single bottom line, particularly when the going gets rough. But keep pushing. I think as millennials also work their way up the workforce and gain power in politics and economics, things will shift. But it's not going to be an easy, steady uptick. And so keep the pressure on. Keep being the champions. And I always am so grateful there are people way more radical than anyone in this room to make us all look normal.
All right. Well, I'm gonna continue my green morning by taking the CTA to O'Hare. I'd like to thank you for showing up and thank the panel for the good discussion.